evening, everyone. Today, I want to talk about something that challenges a deeply rooted misconception. The idea that building muscle after the age of 60 is nearly impossible. Now, most people assume that once you hit a certain age, your body simply slows down, and there's not much you can do about it. That's only partially true. Yes, there are changes that occur in the neuromuscular system. Sarcopenia, the gradual loss of muscle mass, becomes more pronounced. Hormone levels shift, protein synthesis becomes less efficient, and recovery takes longer. These are biological realities. Muscle growth after 60 is biologically possible with the right approach. Many people believe that once they reach a certain age, muscle building becomes unattainable. This belief is not only discouraging, but it also overlooks the adaptability of the human body, even in later decades of life. While it is true that aging brings about physiological changes, such as reduced levels of anabolic hormones like testosterone and growth hormone, and decreased mitochondrial efficiency, these changes do not eliminate the body's ability to respond to training stimuli. Instead, they simply mean that the strategies must be adjusted to align with the current biological environment. Muscle growth or hypertrophy is largely driven by three mechanisms: mechanical tension, metabolic stress, and muscle damage. These mechanisms are still active in older adults, though they may require more deliberate activation through structured training programs. Research has shown that individuals over 60 can still generate the mechanical tension needed for muscle growth through resistance training, particularly when exercises are performed with controlled tempo and proper form. What changes is not the ability to generate tension, but the efficiency and the recovery time required afterward. This is where periodized training and individualized load management become essential. An important concept here is anabolic resistance, which refers to the reduced sensitivity of older muscle to the anabolic signals from both training and protein intake. This can be mitigated by consuming higher quality protein sources rich in leucine and by increasing total protein intake to around 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight per day, depending on the individual. Additionally, spacing protein intake throughout the day in evenly distributed meals may enhance muscle protein synthesis responses in older adults. Neuromuscular adaptation also plays a critical role. After 60, there is often a decline in motor unit recruitment and firing frequency, but resistance training has been shown to improve neuromuscular coordination and motor learning. This leads to better movement quality and force production, which in turn supports muscle growth. Strength training increases neural drive, improves intermuscular coordination, and recruits high threshold motor units. Even in older populations, the central nervous system remains plastic and trainable. Another common concern is joint health and injury risk. When programmed intelligently, resistance training actually improves joint integrity, tendon strength, and bone density, all of which are crucial for reducing the risk of falls and maintaining independence. Using machines, resistance bands, or modified bodyweight movements can be just as effective as heavy free weights, especially when working within pain-free ranges of motion. Furthermore, muscle tissue is metabolically active and plays a central role in glucose regulation, hormone production, and even cognitive health. For older adults, maintaining or increasing muscle mass isn't just about aesthetics or strength. It's directly tied to longevity and quality of life. The ability to lift oneself from a chair, carry groceries, or walk upstairs confidently. These are all outcomes of maintaining muscle integrity well into the later decades. Age muscle loss, known as sarcopenia, can be slowed or even reversed with targeted intervention. Sarcopenia typically begins to manifest around the age of 30 and progresses more rapidly after the age of 60. It is characterized by a decline in skeletal muscle mass, strength, and function, which can significantly impact mobility, balance, and overall metabolic health. This process is influenced by a variety of factors, including hormonal changes, decreased physical activity, chronic inflammation, and inadequate protein intake. However, the presence of sarcopenia does not imply an irreversible decline. On the contrary, muscle tissue remains highly responsive to the right stimuli, even in older individuals. The loss of muscle mass with age is primarily due to an imbalance between muscle protein synthesis, MPS, and muscle protein break. In youth, MPS typically outweighs MPB, especially following exercise or protein ingestion. But in older adults, the body becomes less responsive to these anabolic triggers. This phenomenon, known as anabolic resistance, contributes significantly to sarcopenia. The good news is that this resistance can be overcome through strategies like resistance training, optimal protein intake, and certain nutritional supplements. When these strategies are applied consistently, the muscle-building response can be restored to a meaningful degree. Resistance training is the single most effective intervention for slowing or reversing sarcopenia. It stimulates muscle protein synthesis, enhances neuromuscular coordination, and increases the recruitment of motor units, especially those that tend to be lost with age, such as fast-twitch fibers. These fibers are crucial for strength and power, both of which decline more rapidly in sarcopenic individuals. Importantly, the effectiveness of resistance training does not diminish significantly with age. Instead, older adults may even experience dramatic improvements, particularly if they were previously sedentary. The key is to use progressive overload and to train with intention, allowing for adequate recovery between sessions. Nutrition also plays a central role. Older adults often consume less protein than needed, sometimes due to reduced appetite or misconceptions about dietary requirements. However, protein needs actually increase with age because of anabolic resistance. Consuming high-quality protein sources that are rich in essential amino acids, especially leucine, has been shown to enhance muscle protein synthesis. Distributing protein intake evenly across meals and timing it around exercise sessions can amplify these effects. Another overlooked factor is inflammation. Chronic low-grade inflammation, often referred to as inflammaging, contributes to the breakdown of muscle tissue and impairs regeneration. Lifestyle interventions such as resistance training, omega-3 fatty acid intake, adequate sleep, and stress reduction can help modulate inflammatory pathways and promote a more favorable environment for muscle maintenance. Hormonal shifts, such as reductions in testosterone, growth hormone, and insulin-like growth factor 1, also play a role in sarcopenia. While hormone replacement therapy is a complex and individualized decision, resistance training and proper nutrition naturally support more favorable hormone levels. In many cases, this is sufficient to stimulate improvements in lean mass and strength without pharmacological intervention. Creatine monohydrate enhances muscle strength and lean mass through well-documented and biologically grounded mechanisms. It is one of the most researched supplements in sports and clinical nutrition, with a robust body of evidence supporting its efficacy, not just for athletes, but for aging populations as well. Creatine is a naturally occurring compound synthesized in the liver, kidneys, and pancreas, and stored predominantly in skeletal muscle tissue. It plays a vital role in the phosphagen energy system, which is the primary source of rapid energy production during short bursts of high-intensity activity, such as weightlifting or sprinting. When creatine is ingested in supplemental form, it increases intramuscular stores of both free creatine and phosphocreatine. This enhances the muscle's ability to rapidly regenerate adenosine triphosphate, ATP, the energy currency of the cell. For older adults, this is particularly valuable as the ability to perform high-intensity movements often declines with age due to both neuromuscular and metabolic factors. By increasing phosphocreatine availability, creatine supplementation can help older individuals produce more force during resistance training sessions, which in turn leads to greater mechanical tension and stimulus for muscle growth. Several randomized controlled trials have demonstrated that older adults who supplement with creatine while engaging in resistance training experience significantly greater increases in lean muscle mass and muscular strength compared to those who train without creatine. These effects are observed across various muscle groups, including the legs, arms, and trunk. This enhanced adaptation likely results from a combination of improved training performance, greater muscle cell hydration, and an upregulation of genes involved in muscle growth and repair. One of the lesser known but highly relevant effects of creatine is its ability to increase intracellular water content within muscle cells. This cell volumization acts as an anabolic signal, initiating pathways that support protein synthesis and muscle hypertrophy. In aging individuals whose cells may be more prone to dehydration and catabolism, this cellular hydration can create a more favorable environment for muscle maintenance and growth. Creatine also has neuroprotective and cognitive benefits, which are increasingly being recognized as important aspects of overall health in aging populations. The brain uses significant amounts of ATP, especially during tasks that require memory, problem solving, and executive function. By supporting more efficient energy production in brain tissue, creatine may contribute indirectly to improved motor control and coordination, which are essential for effective strength training and injury prevention in older adults. From a safety standpoint, creatine has consistently been shown to be well tolerated, with no evidence of long-term harm in healthy individuals when taken at recommended dosages. This makes it especially attractive for older users who may be managing multiple health conditions. Additionally, creatine does not interfere with commonly prescribed medications, and its benefits are not limited to a specific gender or training background. Its effects are seen in both trained and untrained individuals, which underscores its utility as a foundational supplement for muscle health in later life. Supplementing with creatine supports neuromuscular function and recovery by enhancing cellular energy availability and promoting optimal performance during resistance training. As people age, the efficiency of the neuromuscular system tends to decline, leading to slower reaction times, reduced coordination, and diminished muscle activation. These changes are largely due to a loss of motor neurons, decreased motor unit recruitment, and alterations in synaptic transmission at the neuromuscular junction. Creatine plays a critical role in mitigating these effects by supplying an energy buffer that supports the functional demands of the nervous system and skeletal muscle during both physical exertion and rest. Creatine phosphate acts as a rapid energy reservoir for the regeneration of adenosine triphosphate, ATP, particularly in high-demand tissues such as muscle and brain. During resistance training or any form of high-intensity exercise, ATP is consumed rapidly, and without adequate phosphocreatine stores, fatigue sets in much faster. By increasing phosphocreatine availability within muscle cells, creatine supplementation helps extend the capacity for muscular contraction, allowing for more repetitions, greater loads, and enhanced time under tension. This directly contributes to stronger neuromuscular signaling and more efficient motor unit activation during exercise. One important aspect of neuromuscular health in aging is the preservation of fast twitch muscle fibers, which are responsible for explosive movements and rapid force generation. These fibers are preferentially lost during aging, but they are also the most responsive to creatine field activity. When supplemented appropriately, creatine helps maintain the energy needs of these fibers during resistance training, encouraging their continued recruitment and development. This not only supports strength, but also helps preserve balance and reduce fall risk in older adults. Recovery is another area where creatine exerts significant influence. Exercise-induced muscle damage, while necessary for adaptation, must be followed by sufficient recovery to allow for repair and growth. Creatine has been shown to reduce markers of muscle cell damage and inflammation post-exercise, likely by stabilizing cell membranes and supporting intracellular hydration. Hydrated muscle cells are less susceptible to damage and more capable of clearing metabolic waste products like lactate and ammonia, which can impair recovery and contribute to delayed onset muscle soreness. Creatine also supports glycogen replenishment following exercise. Glycogen, the stored form of carbohydrate in muscle tissue, is essential for sustained energy during resistance and endurance training. By enhancing glycogen storage, creatine helps prepare the muscles for subsequent sessions, allowing for a more consistent and productive training routine. This effect is especially important for older individuals who may require longer recovery periods between workouts if recovery strategies are not optimized. At the cellular level, creatine has been associated with improved mitochondrial efficiency and reduced oxidative stress. These effects not only enhance performance and recovery, but also contribute to the long-term preservation of neuromuscular health. Mitochondria are critical for sustained muscle function, and their decline with age is a major factor in decreased endurance and muscular fatigue. By improving mitochondrial energy output, creatine supplementation offers a protective effect against age decline in neuromuscular efficiency. Resistance training combined with creatine yields significant benefits, especially in individuals over the age of 60. This synergy between mechanical load and biochemical support represents a highly effective strategy for combating age muscle decline and promoting overall functional health. Resistance training alone triggers muscle hypertrophy by applying stress to muscle fibers, stimulating protein synthesis, and enhancing neuromuscular coordination. When creatine supplementation is added to this equation, the outcomes become more pronounced due to increased energy availability and improved training performance. The primary driver behind muscle hypertrophy is mechanical tension applied through progressive overload. This requires muscles to adapt to gradually increasing demands, leading to cellular and molecular changes that promote growth and strength. In older adults, the challenge often lies in the reduced capacity to generate and sustain that tension over time due to factors such as decreased ATP regeneration and early onset of fatigue. Creatine directly addresses this limitation by increasing the availability of phosphocreatine, which replenishes ATP more rapidly during high-intensity efforts. This results in an increased number of repetitions, higher training volume, and more effective sessions overall. Training volume, defined as sets multiplied by repetitions and load, is a major factor in driving muscular adaptation. For older individuals who may not be able to lift extremely heavy weights, increasing training volume through moderate loads and higher reps becomes an effective strategy. Creatine enhances this approach by extending the ability to perform at submaximal levels for longer periods, supporting both strength and hypertrophy adaptations. Studies have repeatedly shown that older adults who engage in resistance training while supplementing with creatine experience greater gains in muscle mass, strength, and power compared to those who train without supplementation. The combination also supports improvements in type 2 muscle fiber activation. These fast twitch fibers are particularly sensitive to age atrophy, but are essential for generating rapid force and preventing falls. Creatine helps facilitate the recruitment of these fibers during resistance training, improving not just muscle size, but functional strength and speed. This is particularly important in aging populations where muscle quality matters as much as muscle quantity in maintaining independence and reducing injury risk. Another advantage of this combined approach lies in the neurological adaptations that accompany strength training. The brain and nervous system become more efficient at signaling the muscles to contract with greater force and coordination. Creatine, through its neuroprotective effects and enhancement of cellular energy metabolism, further amplifies these neuromuscular benefits. Enhanced brain energy metabolism also contributes to better motor learning and movement pattern refinement, which is critical for safe and effective strength training execution in older populations. In addition to these physiological advantages, there are psychological benefits as well. Improvements in strength, mobility, and physical appearance can contribute to greater self-efficacy, motivation, and adherence to training protocols. Creatine's support of cognitive function may also help improve focus, decision-making, and mood, all of which positively influence the training experience. By making each workout more productive and each recovery period more efficient, the combination of resistance training and creatine creates a reinforcing cycle of progress and adaptation. Consistent sleep, hydration, and protein intake amplify the effects of creatine supplementation and resistance training, especially in individuals over 60 who are seeking to build or maintain muscle mass. These foundational lifestyle factors play a crucial role in the body's ability to respond to training stimuli, regulate recovery processes, and maintain hormonal balance, all of which are necessary for effective muscular adaptation. While creatine provides a significant biochemical advantage, its effectiveness is maximized only when these supporting elements are in place and consistently maintained. Sleep is one of the most important yet underrated components of muscle growth and recovery. During deep stages of sleep, particularly slow-wave sleep, the body releases growth hormone and initiates cellular repair processes. These hormonal surges are essential for muscle protein synthesis and tissue regeneration. In older adults, sleep architecture often becomes fragmented. With less time spent in deep sleep, this reduction can impair muscle recovery and limit the anabolic response to both training and supplementation. Prioritizing high-quality sleep by maintaining a consistent schedule, managing light exposure, and minimizing stimulants can help restore the depth and continuity of sleep needed for optimal muscle recovery. Hydration status also plays a vital role in muscle function and the efficacy of creatine supplementation. Creatine increases the water content within muscle cells, a process known as cell volumization. This not only signals anabolic pathways, but also enhances performance during training sessions. However, if overall hydration is lacking, the benefits of creatine may be diminished. Dehydrated muscle cells are more prone to fatigue, cramping, and injury. Moreover, even mild dehydration can impair mental focus, reduce exercise tolerance, and negatively impact joint lubrication and nutrient transport. Older adults are especially susceptible to dehydration due to a diminished thirst response and potential medication side effects, making conscious hydration habits even more important. Protein intake is another essential pillar of muscle maintenance and growth. As individuals age, they experience anabolic resistance, which reduces the muscle building response to protein ingestion. To overcome this, both the quality and quantity of protein must be optimized. Research supports a daily intake of approximately 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight for older adults engaged in resistance training. Equally important is the distribution of protein across meals, with a target of 25 to 40 grams of high-quality protein per meal to stimulate muscle protein synthesis effectively. Leucine-rich proteins, such as whey, eggs, and lean meats, are particularly effective in this regard. When combined, these elements create a physiological environment conducive to muscular adaptation. Consistent sleep allows the nervous and muscular systems to reset and rebuild. Adequate hydration supports energy metabolism, nutrient delivery, and cellular health. Sufficient protein intake provides the raw materials for muscle repair and growth. Together, they amplify the effects of creatine and resistance training, allowing for more consistent strength gains, faster recovery times, and greater preservation of lean body mass in aging individuals. This integrative approach ensures that muscle building efforts are not only effective in the short term, but also sustainable and protective over time,